Dr. HENDO I.L. Henderson, the ad hoc Chief Justice of the Universal World Court. He is YAHOSHUA Mashiach, the Son of Man, the Son of God, in the flesh. Rise and shine, sir.
Rise and shine. How do you hear me?
Very clearly, sir.
Outstanding. You have to speak clearly and quickly with me, because I am now at a point where the world has become more energetic based upon the fact of what's going on, based upon the reset. If we begin to start sounding like we done got tired or we're weak or we can't make it, the global reset will pass us by. So we're going to have to start being more energetic. Whatever we got to do, we got to drink our would-be energy drinks or whatever it takes. We got to pep it up, because right now the global reset is happening, and everyone around the planet, everyone around every planet is now geared toward the reset. And they are now so energetic that they are now fighting. They're majorly fighting in all areas of the world. And as the world knows that World War III is beginning to escalate, is beginning to grow in size, it is not going to stop. As all of the would-be leaders of the foreign nations that I have spoken to in my own way of having to communicate with them, due to the fact that many of them are running for me, they all understand and they all recognize the global reset. They also recognize the global would-be ad hoc universal world court judge. Even though many of them would try to deny it when being asked the question, their thinking is like where you put your so-called would-be payment of a bill in the mail, and just because you say that you haven't seen it yet, that you don't have to pay that bill. I need them to understand this is not the case in this situation, which we are now dealing with and has been dealing with now for the last past will be 40-plus years. United Nations are all well aware of what's going on. None of them are confused. It just seems to be one nation, if it might be given that title, knowing that it has not yet presented any true documentation where it came from. Then disagreement or some kind of confusion of disagreement, whereby they think they can go around sanctioning every nation. They believe they can go around disagreeing with every law, with the institution on the planet, except for those things in which they set up, when no one on the planet has to or will recognize anything that they're talking about at this point in time. Now, United Nations, I want to say once again, welcome to the call, Rise and Shine. This is the formal way of doing it. The informal way of saying that we are the World Global Network, Reset, Restoration Network family. And yes, we are 198 sovereign nations. These sovereign nations makes up of 8+ billion, now 9 billion people total. And we are working on the would-be area wanting to receive all 9.5 billion. And by October 15th this year, we want to say that we have 10 billion people, because there will be just that many on the planet. United Nations are all, once again, well aware of everything that's being done and said in this area in which we so reside in. And I want to make a few corrections this Rise and Shine day. And I know it is constantly why I myself have gone back and listened to a few would-be calls now. And I just now recognize that, believe it or not, I don't normally go up on any website to include the one that we have set up. But I recently had the opportunity to sit with a computer analyst that we have and listen to a couple of the calls by way, I guess, of recognition that we do exist. And I want to make this correction. Everyone keeps saying the laws of Moses. These are not the laws of Moses. These are the laws of God. Moses was only the bringer of the laws. He was not that one who implemented the laws. He was not the one who initiated the laws. He wasn't even the one who came up with the idea to have law. He was only the bringer. He was instructed by God to bring the laws to the entire universe. And believe it or not, this has been the argument now over the course of a period of about 2,000 years between those that classify themselves to being Baptists, those that classify themselves to being Protestants, those that have classified themselves to be Presbyterian, those that have classified themselves as being Muslims, those that have classified themselves as being Buddha. This is the argument that they have. Everyone agrees that Moses was the law bringer, but everyone is in disagreement about were those Moses laws. And I can assure you they were not Moses laws, because Moses was just like everyone else. He was in the would-be form and fashion of breaking those laws, which the first set of laws he received, he totally smashed them. We're not talking about dropping some would-be concrete tablets or some would-be so-called molded tablets. But he himself was indulging in all the crimes and the sins in which was being committed on the planet. So whereby that's what that entitlement means. So for your would-be, laws that Moses broke was because he, too, was indulgent in those sins and those crimes. The second law, he himself even tested to try to break them. It was only his fear of God that he did not. And all the people were whining and crying once again, like they did the first set of laws, that he might be able to at least somehow find himself circular, working with them in a carnal would-be lifestyle. Now, the world knows this. All the nations are all well aware of this. It's only the United States of America that when it comes to them, they want to falsify not only documentations of themselves, they also want to falsify everybody else's document. As if everybody else's document came second or last to their would-be so-called first document. But there are no true documentation of the United States of America initially or any other place. I'm only clearing this up because I need the United States of America's citizens, if they might call themselves that, and I have to recognize them as that because many of them come to me with nothing more than simple personal problems, situations. I have 198 nations that I'm dealing with on a level whereby I have to be personal with them as well. And all I get from the people in the United States of America is me. What about me? What about me? And they don't understand that there are about 297 million on a list of more than 10 billion people now. And they want to be first. They can't wait. They always want to try to manipulate you or slick willy their way into a situation where you will take care of them first. That's the United States of America. That is the United States of America lifestyle. That is what they have been taught to do. They got it from their mamas. Excuse me, no offense to the women, but I say again, they get it from their mamas. Because the mamas have been so left alone by themselves, they have developed some would-be method of trying to manipulate to be able to feed their babies. And I understand that. I can understand that to the fullness. But it's not going to make it right. So we're going to set it right by making the father take initiative and step forward to take responsibility for everything that they have placed on the planet. Now, United Nations, once again, I'm saying rise and shine. We have a lot of work to do. Everyone now is believing that some would-be jackleg nation, like the United States of America, is going to be able to dictate to us what the new currency is going to be. Bitcoin. I can tell you right now, you can take a bite out of Bitcoin along with taking a bite out of crime. Because I have already determined that Bitcoin is nothing more than part of a RICO system whereby it can be classified as money laundering and Bitcoin laundering. Because all of it is tied to crimes right now. There is nowhere I look where I find one would-be so-called Bitcoin, if we might call it that. I guess they call it data. Nowhere have I found Bitcoin data right now where I can classify it as being nothing more than RICO, crimes against humanity. And these crimes against humanity is major right now. They're very major. Still here. You can hear me, can't you?
Yes, yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, if someone has to give me, yes, there you go. You have to give me an acknowledgement. You have to understand that my phone is constantly ringing, and there's times when some of the calls in which I will be receiving is so important that I don't even get an opportunity to say no to those calls. I don't get the opportunity to and I don't have the privilege to put them on hold, so I have to click over. Now, I need you to understand, nation, that these calls are very much important right now because times are now coming to a vast moment where everyone on the planet is going to be running for the hills. One might say those of the righteous will be running to the hill from which cometh their help. And there will be those that of the unrighteous will be running to those hills to be smothered by those hills and ash. Now, I'm only saying this in a manner where everyone will begin to wake up and realize that the world has already changed. It is going to seriously change in the next coming would-be weeks, days. Because we are in Nibiru. Yes, I do know that a lot of you don't understand what Nibiru is all about. But it's a place where now, even the scientists have already discovered that they're saying that the moon is kind of distancing itself from the Earth. Once upon a time, they were classifying it as the Earth with its slow pull of gravity was kind of not making it to the moon at no time, and it was kind of sitting still. That's not the case. They realized and recognized now, which I told them from the time I was about 12 years old what was happening, but they refused to accept it. Denial, 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 I would say. Rejection, rejection upon rejection. But yes, the moon is pulling away from the Earth. From this Earth, is pulling away, because this is the new earth, and the new earth is about to replenish itself, whereby Nibiru is going to split down the center. 180 will fall, and the other 180 will fall, which will completely destroy a 360. But we do know, because we're living on a square plane, we have to kind of look at it in such a much more would-be manner of understanding, knowing that you have 4 45-degree angles, and then we will have a 90. And that 190 added up on both sides, that 90 would be nothing more than 180. And so we know that we live on a plane of about 180. And when given another plane side by side, it will be 2 180s, which would give us nothing more than 360, 180 and 180. I know, but this is the simplest understanding when given to a would-be knowledgeable person that understands how numbers system truly works. That's why I normally tell them, I don't like numbers. However, I can do them very simple and very easily. I just don't like them because man finds the time to inflate them when they will be beneficial for the people, for himself, inflate and deflate when they're for the people. And this is very sad when given a system in whereby we're in, knowing that right now everybody is under a crunch time of surviving. United Nations, what a beautiful time to be in. For you will receive the global reset restoration, and all the land will find itself being restored, replenished, repaired. And all of those that have been stealing the land, taking the land, claiming the land, it will be returned. How about that? All of the world right now, rebuild, reconstruction, based upon the fact that it has been constructed to a point where they have did nothing more than destroyed it, and constantly trying to destroy it. I can say, based upon the principles in which we deal with, coming from a place they call the U.S. of A., with no offense to the people, but it's a system that was set up to destroy the majority of the planet, whereby the planet would humble themselves and bow their knees to them and come running for mercy and help, only to have them, again, do nothing more than confiscate the rest of the planet. I must say to them, not going to happen. But the simple fact is not going to happen because the intelligence that they now have roaming around their leadership can barely even find themselves training monkeys. But they too need the same training that the monkey is receiving from them, and even much so, a better trainer, a more intelligent trainer, a more courageable trainer, a trainer which will understand that when he places a bowl before his would-be pet, providing that pet leaves that bowl alone, he will receive his would-be so-called food. But if he keeps messing with that bowl, he is not going to receive anything. He will go hungry. Pretty soon he will recognize that as long as he leaves that bowl alone, he will receive his gibbles and bits. But if he keeps messing with that bowl, he will find himself starving. Now, I'm saying this in reference to the United States of America gets to a point they start classifying as pet would-be violation. They call it abuse of pet when they themselves are those pets. They just keep right on feeding themselves until they get overweight, they get out of shape, they get out of breath. Then they find themselves dying. Now all of a sudden they want someone to come and save them from their would-be disgusted world in which they have made for themselves. United Nations, we are on a would-be serious movement now of reset for the entire global world. There is no way back. No, and I don't believe that any of the nations, far and near, wants to even see themselves going back to an old world of ignorance, old world of whereby you're not being provided with the care that you need to even live past a few days. United Nations now all working together. I know it seems far and unlikely to some of you, but all you have to do is test some of the would-be leaders, as Mr. Olaf Scholz, that is running Germany right now, Europe. Just as I warned him a few weeks ago, a few months ago, and I've been warning him now for a few years, that if he didn't get in line, he would find himself doing nothing more than watching his nation suffer. I know some of you don't recognize the fact that it's not the leaders who suffer, but it's the people in whom the leaders are claiming to be leading are those that suffer. Right now, I'm in the process of dealing with all of the nations, nationwide. I would say to my brothers and sisters, especially in the United States of America, stop it. with your simple personal problems and situations. Right now, you got World War III standing at your door while you're living in Nibiru, and all of the climate change is taking place because the moon is tiptoeing away from the earth, just like I told you it would. I need you to understand that hell is coming closer to you as we so speak. And you need to sit down and be quiet like I told you before. When I made the statement to sit down and be quiet, get you some brownies, get you your favorite beverage, and just take a break, I meant I needed you to start finding some way in your life to make yourself, I would say, needed. Make yourself relevant. Make yourself not be non-productive. That's what I was telling you to do. And constantly, you should have recognized that when I told you to get yourself a real life. Sit down and stop it. Stop thinking somebody's about to drop your check on your doorstep, because you have to earn that check. And the way you're going to earn that check is by living a righteous life. And if you're already being told that, that was what was told to you initially. You have to get in the kingdom of your Allah. That means you have to live in a righteous world. You have to be of a righteous individual. You have to make sure that everything in your house is righteous. We're not talking about where you're going to be going to church on Sunday, where you'll be able to go down to the altar and finally tell your would-be neighborhood pastor that you got it all together while doing nothing more than putting Vaseline grease all over your back and doing the backslide. That's not what we're talking about when we say getting it right with Yah. All of you are constantly playing games on TikTok, playing games on Instagram. Now you're on X, you're on Clubhouse. You're doing all the things that the world do, but yet still you're claiming to somehow been called out of the world. As we normally say, those that I'm speaking to, I believe that they're not of this world, just as I am not of this world. I'm not asking my Father to even take them out of this world, but that he saved them from the evil one. Stay with me. Don't go falling asleep. I'm explaining something to you that is very detrimental to your health, your life, and everything around you. I'm only wanting to protect you from those demons of the world that will pull you into a RICO situation, whereby you're going to be one that's going to be exposed to the same would-be penalties that they're going to be exposed to. Based upon the book of Romans 1, you're going to suffer that penalty whether you want to or not. It's called the penalty of death. I know. I'm not in fear of it. And those that of you that aren't, so be it. I need everyone out there to hear me and hear me good. None of you are expendable when it comes down to Yah Allah, God of the universe. And if it's so be it that you should be suspended, I say good riddance. C'est la vie. Adios. Goodbye. I'm just giving you the facts because right now, this world is on a major, major tip. This tip is about to flip over. And when it flips over, a lot of bodies are going to be suspended into air. And I can assure you that their landing, it's not going to be a rough landing. It is going to be a landing of death. I must tell you the truth. I did not come into the world to manipulate you or to lie. I did not come into the world to change your laws. I did not come into your world to break your laws. But through me, they will and shall and must be fulfilled. Because I came here to make sure that those laws that you made, even you live out, based upon the fact that you claimed that they were going to be beneficial for all. Now we're going to find out. And if one of your laws are not beneficial for all, we're going to terminate you. That's the way it's going to work. I know. Everyone says, well, how can he make this statement? He don't have an army. Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I got all of the army. He don't have the authority. Yes, I do. I got all the authority here on earth and in heaven. And I will have it on the new earth and the new heaven. Because my Father has carefully, gently placed it in my hand. And I'm saying to you, come take it. Come take it. Oh, I know for a fact that you can't. I'm not even going to think or contemplate that you might have a chance. Go ahead, because you are not in competition with me. I am not in competition with you. For there is no competition. Not with my Father. Surely not with his Son. Test me. Go ahead. I'm still here. And I will become more stronger by the day. I will become more stronger by the minute. I will become more stronger by the second. And if you badmouth me, you're only going to increase my strength. Meantime, today, United Nations, you know I got work to do. I'm looking outside my window. You know it's day. Man must work while it's still day, for night coming, no man can work. My work must go on. Those who try to hinder it, I'm going to make sure that I place them in darkness under a long would-be flat rock that they won't be able to find which direction to go in to climb out. I got work to do. I know. United Nations, I know you're working with me. I know. You're setting up your lunchers. You're getting your lunch pads ready. I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing. You're setting a large, yeah, that's your supremacy. Your would-be area of your perimeter area of nothing more than making sure that you protect yourself. And you're going to break the perimeters of all would-be enemies and all would-be wicked. And you're going to destroy them. I already know what the plan is. I seen that plan some 2 million years ago. 2 million light years ago, I would say. They can't count that far. Let's just say they're going to wish they had. It is time for us to go to work once again. Me looking outside my window once again, I'm going to say to you, rise and shine, go to work. United Nations, all my nation, brothers and sisters, is beginning to climb into the darkness of the midst of what we know to be the spheres of relaxation. Get your sleep. Get you some rest. Your time will only last for a moment, and then your eyes will flash and you will be back awake for another day's work. Get your rest. Let me say to you, I love you. And yes, we walk together. We will not only walk together, but we're praying together. And we must say that, yes, there is a circle that will be unbroken by and by in the sky. Now, get your rest. We got work to do. When you waken, peace and love, and nightfall.
Thank you, Yahushua. And thank you, family, for joining us. We will be with you Friday morning at the same time. In the meantime, if darkness has fallen across your land, take the opportunity to get your rest, build up your strength, and get ready. Tomorrow is another day, and we're going to be busy. It's light on our side of the planet, and you know we're constantly working on your behalf. We do love you, family. And we leave you with John 17:14 through 17. I, Yahushua, have given them your word, Father Yah, and the world has hated them, because they are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. Sanctify them by your truth, Father Yah. Your word is truth. With that, I yield you.